YNR recap. October 29th. Jack and Billy declare war on Victor as Nick and Kyle press Sienna for answers. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For the young and the restless latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. On today's Young and the Restless, Wednesday, October 29th, 2025, Jack and Billy join forces to fight back against Victor, while Phyllis's loyalties are questioned on all sides. At the same time, Nick searches for the truth about Noah's accident, pressing Sienna for answers she seems reluctant to give. The Abbott mansion. Billy comes by the house, and Jack lets him know that Kane's AI has been stolen by Victor. Billy's concerned. How did this happen? Jack figures that Victor had help from Phyllis. Billy says Phyllis is capable of playing with the devil if she's partnered up with Victor. He won't be able to talk to her about it. Jack gets angry and threatens that if Phyllis has anything to do with this, she'll get what's coming to her. Billy thinks it's a risky move on Phyllis's part. He's happy that Jack reached out to him first about this. He hopes that their last fight was their last. Jack says he wants Billy fighting by his side. He notices Billy's hand looks sore and asks what happened. Billy says that his hand met Adam's face. Jack nods. Right now, they need to combat the Newmans any way they can. He says the gloves are off now. Jack and Billy call Diane and Sally and get an update on their computer networks. Jack lets Billy know that their computer systems seem to be safe so far, and Billy lets him know the same about Abbott communication servers. Jack wants Billy to connect with Phyllis and find out who she's aligned with. He says they'll need Phyllis to fight this. Billy isn't sure that he should be the one to talk to Phyllis. Jack might get her to open up more. Jack says he's married to Phyllis's mortal enemy. He can't talk to her. Even if Phyllis didn't steal the program, she's the best at what she does. Billy agrees. He'll find Phyllis and they'll see what she's done. Jack nods. He's counting on his brother, the Genoa City Athletic Club. Kane asks Phyllis why she thinks that Victor is going to come after Arabesque. Victor always seems more interested in going after Jack and Jabot. Phyllis says he'll have to ask Victor himself. Kane doesn't think so. He figures Phyllis is playing him. Phyllis says she can think of a reason that Victor would want to come after him. Kane was responsible for Nick getting hurt. She says that Nick was badly hurt when Kane had him locked away in France. Kane says he apologized for it. He doesn't think that Phyllis is telling him anything new. Did Victor actually say he was coming after Arabesque? And Kane Phyllis says Victor didn't have to say it. She just knows it. Kane wants to know what Phyllis's game is, what she hiding, and what she want. Phyllis says she's not hiding anything, but Victor said that he was tired of playing games with Kane and wanted to turn the tables on him to make him sweat. Kane says he told Jack and Diane that Victor stole the AI software and is going to go after Jabot. The Abbotts are on alert now so they can protect themselves from Victor. Phyllis asks him why he'd do that without telling her. Kane says Phyllis was trying to convince him that Victor stole the software, so why is she so concerned that he went to the Abbotts to warn them? Phyllis says she doesn't care about Jack, Billy, or especially Diane. Does he remember that Phyllis ran Jabot? She was killing it until Ashley and Jack screwed her over. Jack doesn't need to worry about anything. Victor is going after Kane, not Jack. Kane still doesn't think it makes sense. Why would Victor not go after Jack? Victor would try to use the AI to conquer everything. Phyllis says that he's not listening to her. He needs her. She's given him every reason to trust him. Kane shrugs. He's sorry she feels rejected. Phyllis says she wants to be his partner. She's not in bed with anyone else. Kane says she's good. Whatever she's trying to do, it's got him off balance. If she had her way, he'd lose his footing completely. He doesn't want to end up flat on his back. Phyllis grins. She can think of worse positions he could be in with her. Kane asks what she's implying. He thinks he'll keep his feet firmly on the ground around her. Phyllis sighs. That's disappointing. She thinks there's an upside to this, though if Victor goes after Kane, he'll be the victim, and that may evoke sympathy in his kids and Lily. Kane nods. Maybe that's true. He says Phyllis seems to be doing everything she can to take his eyes off hers, or maybe she's doing everything she can to distract him with her beautiful blue eyes, so he doesn't notice that she's shoving a knife in his back. Phyllis can't believe that. Knives in the back. Nobody needs to be reminded of what they went through in Nice. She wants him to level with her. Does he really think she's lying to him? Kane doesn't know what to think about her. She's one of the most baffling, exasperating, and fascinating women he's ever known. Phyllis smiles. That's much better. The shadow room. Kyle drops by the club. He says hello to Sienna and asks her to join him for a drink so she can tell him everything about Audra Charles. Sienna agrees, but wants to know how well he knows Noah Newman. They sit down, and Kyle sips on a whiskey while Sienna drinks a glass of water. Kyle says that Nick is his former father-in-law, and he was married to Summer, who is Noah's half-sister. He asks how Sienna knows the Newmans. Sienna says she just met Nick, though Noah was in her club the last few months. She's sorry he's in the hospital and wants to know if there's any update on his condition. Kyle knows that Noah is in a medically induced coma. He wonders why Sienna seems so concerned about him. Sienna says that she became friendly with Noah when he was there doing research for opening a new club. Her husband is interested in investing in it. Nick told her that someone might have intentionally ran Noah off the road. Kyle wonders why Noah would have any enemies there. Sienna isn't sure. Noah was at the club the night he got in the accident. She wants to know what happened, but Nick doesn't seem to trust her and won't let her know what's going on. Nick walks into the club and approaches their table. He asks what Kyle is doing there with Sienna. Kyle didn't expect to see Nick there, but he's there to find out more about Holden. Nick asks if he should be concerned about Holden and Claire. Sienna says that Holden is fine. He's just a guy who likes to have fun. She asks Kyle to hang around so they can finish their conversation after she talks with Nick. Kyle agrees and leaves them to talk. Nick asks Sienna if she knows anything more about what happened the night of Noah's accident. He needs to know who tried to kill his son. Sienna says that there wasn't anyone out of sorts the night of Noah's accident. Nick asks where the staff go after hours. Sienna doesn't really know. She's sleeping around that time and doesn't know where her staff goes after work. She's told Nick everything she knows about that night. Nick asks what the police asked her. When she explains that the police didn't talk to her, Nick is confused. Why wouldn't the police talk to her? Sienna doesn't know. Nick is sure she's not telling him the whole story. Sienna wonders why he thinks she's holding back. She has nothing to gain from this. Nick says he's just trying to get to the bottom of this. She's spoken with his son and gotten to know him. He's desperate for answers. Nick wonders if she's trying to put it off so that she can make sure the staff have their story straight. Sienna says there's nothing to hide or get straight. She wants to get to the bottom of this too, for Noah's sake. Nick asks about her relationship with Noah. How much does she like him? He thinks she was closer to Noah than she's admitting. He'll be back tomorrow to question her staff. Sienna says she's a married woman. She wasn't close in that way with Noah. She'll see him tomorrow. Nick leaves, and Sienna joins Kyle at the bar. Kyle says she looks worried. Sienna says Noah was in an accident after he went to her bar. Of course, she's concerned. Kyle says Noah wasn't really a stranger. He wants to make a deal. She tells him everything about Audra and Holden, and he'll dig into Noah's accident. Is she in Noah's hospital? Nikki and Victoria arrive at the hospital, where they're greeted by Nick and Sharon. Sharon wants Noah to hear their voices as well. Victoria knows the doctors are doing all they can. Nick agrees. He's suspicious about the police's involvement and thinks he needs to talk to Sienna again to find out what she has to know. Sharon asks him to go see Sienna now so he can find out more about what happened to Noah. Nick agrees and leaves. Sharon tells Nikki and Victoria that this whole ordeal is really gnawing at Nick. Nikki says they're there to support Nick. She wants to know how Sharon is doing. A bit later, Sharon, Nikki, and Victoria return to the waiting room with coffee. Sharon tells them about how she felt when she got the news about Noah. She was scared and upset, and Noah hasn't woken up yet. She's doing her best to deal with it, but she wonders what they've done to deserve this. Nikki hugs her as she cries. Sharon thanks them for listening to her. She just needed to vent. She misses home and her kids. Victoria tells her that Faith and Christian are doing fine back at home. Nikki is confident that Noah will come back from this. Sharon thanks them for her support. She hopes Nick will find some answers that will make this make sense. Victor and Nikki. The love story that never ends. The beginning of a lifetime. It started in the most unexpected way, an encounter between a powerful man and a young woman with nothing but hope and beauty to offer. Victor Newman, the sharp, ambitious businessman who built an empire with his own two hands, never believed in love at first sight. To him, love was a distraction, a weakness. But that belief shattered the moment Nikki Reed walked into his life. She wasn't born into privilege. She came from struggle, from pain, from nights where dreams felt impossible. Yet she carried herself with grace, with a spark in her eyes that spoke of resilience. When Victor first met her, she was performing at a small club, trying to make ends meet. There was something tragic yet mesmerizing about her, the way she smiled even when her eyes told a different story. Victor watched her from his table in silence, captivated by a woman who seemed to have lived 100 lives before even turning 25. The first conversation was awkward. He was commanding, cold, while she was fiery and proud. But that night marked the start of a journey neither could escape, a love that would span decades, break hearts, and survive storms that would have destroyed anyone else. The rise of Love Victor was not used to rejection, but Nikki was not used to being controlled. He showered her with gifts, with opportunities, with a kind of life she had never imagined, but Nikki never let go of her independence. Their relationship grew from attraction to obsession, from passion to devotion. They built dreams together, celebrated victories, and stood against the world when people said they wouldn't last. The more Victor fell for Nikki, the softer he became. Behind the businessman's armor, she found a wounded man, lonely, fearful of betrayal, desperate to protect the little love he had. Nikki, too, carried scars from her past, poverty, abandonment, and the endless search for stability. Victor became her rock, her savior. But love born from need can also breed resentment. They married under the glow of chandeliers, surrounded by wealth, fame, and envy. Everyone said it was a fairy tale, but both knew their hearts were far more complicated. Cracks in paradise. As years passed, the fairy tale began to fade. Success changed Victor. He became consumed by his empire, his company, his power. And Nikki, left alone in the grand mansion, began to question if love was enough. Their arguments became legendary, two strong souls colliding like thunder. She accused him of trying to control her. He accused her of not understanding his world. And then came the heartbreaks, the infidelities, the misunderstandings, the betrayals. There were times Nikki packed her bags, swearing she'd never return. But no matter where she went, no matter who she tried to love, her heart always led her back to Victor. And each time she returned, he welcomed her with that same stubborn passion, the kind that said, "You belong to me, and I belong to you." They divorced, they remarried, they divorced again. Yet even in their separation, neither could truly let go. It wasn't just love. It was destiny, cruel and beautiful at once. The shadows of the past years rolled into decades. Victor and Nikki faced more than just each other. They faced illness, loss, betrayal, and tragedy. Their children grew, their family expanded, but the ghosts of their choices always followed. Nikki's battles with addiction nearly destroyed her. She tried to drown her pain in alcohol, trying to forget the loneliness of loving a man who was never fully hers. Victor, for all his strength, couldn't fix the one thing that mattered most: the heart of the woman he loved. He built empires, bought companies, fought enemies, but he couldn't control love. There were times when he held her hand in hospital rooms, terrified of losing her forever. Times when he stood by her bed, whispering apologies for words he could never take back. And in those moments, Nikki saw not the ruthless businessman, but the man who loved her more than life itself. Love tested by time. They'd seen it all: youth, passion, betrayal, forgiveness. Their love had become a living legend and public. They were the perfect couple, glamorous, powerful, unshakable. But behind closed doors, they were two souls constantly fighting against time, pride, and their own demons. Nikki often said Victor was her greatest love and her greatest pain. He was the storm and the shelter, the reason she smiled and the reason she cried. Victor, on the other hand, once told her, "You are the only woman I have ever truly loved. No one has ever owned my heart the way you do." And even when others came into their lives, temporary lovers, fleeting distractions, the bond between them never broke. It bent, it ached, but it never shattered. The ultimate betrayal. Every love story has a moment that tests its soul. For Victor and Nikki, it came when trust was lost, when secrets grew too heavy to hide. Nikki discovered truths that shattered her, Business deals that ruined families, manipulations that hurt their children, betrayals she could never imagine. She walked away once again, this time believing it was truly the end. But Victor's pride wouldn't allow him to chase her. Not at first. He waited, he watched, he suffered in silence. And when he finally did go to her, she turned him away. "I can't keep doing this," she said, her voice breaking. "I can't love you and survive you at the same time." Those words haunted Victor. For the first time, the man who feared nothing was afraid. Afraid of living without her. The realization months turned into years. They both grew older, wiser, quieter. Nikki found peace in helping others, trying to rebuild the parts of herself she had lost in their chaos. Victor, meanwhile, began to realize that power meant nothing without the woman who once made him human. When he fell ill, Nikki came back, not out of obligation, but out of love. She sat by his bedside, holding the hand that had once built an empire and destroyed worlds. He opened his eyes and whispered her name, and in that fragile moment, everything else disappeared. There was no pride, no anger, no past, just love. Pure, raw, eternal love. Love reborn. Recovery brought them together once again, but this time, something had changed. They no longer needed to prove anything. They learned to forgive, not just each other, but themselves. They learned that love isn't about perfection, it's about survival. They took walks in their garden, hand in hand, reminiscing about the wild years that had made them legends. "Do you ever regret it?" Nikki asked one evening. Victor smiled softly. "Never. Because even the worst days with you were better than a lifetime without you." She laughed, tears in her eyes. "You always know what to say." "Only to you," he replied, and for the first time in years, peace settled between them. The unbreakable bond. Their story became one for the ages, proof that true love doesn't fade. It evolves. They had hurt each other, healed each other, and come back stronger every time. People called them toxic, complicated, dramatic, but only they knew the truth. Their love wasn't perfect, but it was real.